Hey guys, this is Kelly from Awakened Health Abundant Life, and I've created something very magical for you. It's a 3-part video series on clearing stress hormones out of the body and completely resetting that hypothalamic pituitary axis, completely resetting your glandular system, which guess what? Makes you feel like yourself again, makes you feel like you're in your center, makes you feel like you're in control, makes you feel calm, makes you feel like you can choose different things. It gives you a whole new outlook on life. And that sounds like a pretty good gift, right? The other reason why I wanted to give this to you, not only to just empower you, but to give you these fundamentals. And these are really fundamental, the fundamental keys to keeping yourself healthy. And I want you to forget what maybe your idea of health is, but health is basically keeping your system in homeostasis. And homeostasis comes when the glandular system is secreting on a regular basis hormones that support the body, hormones that feel good in the body. When we are under stress, the glandular system starts to secrete different types of hormones, stress hormones. It signals the kidneys to do this, the adrenal glands to do this, and the ovaries or testes to do this or not this, and the whatever's happening in the body, right? It sends like this storm of chemicals through our body, which then actually influence our mind. And then the thoughts influence the chemicals, and then the chemicals, because they're there for too long, influence the thoughts again, and we get stuck in these loops, okay? And so in order to keep the body healthy and to keep us like feeling like normal people rather than a victim of our mind and stressful thoughts and stressful situations, we have to have a way to not only clear the residue of the hormones out of our system, out of our blood, because they're in the blood, that's where we're clearing them from, but then we need some way of resetting, like boop, push me right in the forehead, reset your endocrine system and your glandular system so that the pulses are the way they're supposed to be, and you're getting the right chemical messages through your body that tell the kidneys to do this and the adrenals to do this when it's appropriate, and take us out of the adrenals, pumping out cortisol and adrenaline 24/7, which is where most people live, right? It's no new news that the #1 cause of disease is stress, because it sends our endocrine system completely out of whack. And when that sucker's out of whack, you don't feel right. Not just physically, but in your mind, you don't feel right. You feel like you're over here. You feel like, I don't know what's wrong, but I just don't feel like myself. And I keep having, and we get consumed by our thoughts. We get consumed by our patterns. We get consumed by the problems. And when we're like that, that's the #1 indicator that your endocrine system is out of balance. So we want to cleanse, we want to push the reset button, and then we want to find a way to circumvent the pattern so we don't get like sucked back into it again, right? We know about triggers. You hear me talk so much about patterns. And guys, it's no new news that we have patterns around things, thought patterns around things. The way we talk to people, the way we show up in a space, when we think about our body, the thought patterns that start there. When we think about the money, the thought loops that start there. When we think about what a partnership is, the thought patterns that start there. And we are always constantly like readjusting ourselves and thinking about things and getting sucked back into reactive, non-beneficial ways of acting, of thinking, of choosing because of these patterns. What happens is the pattern, especially if we have had a trauma, which can be something like a divorce. It can be something like losing somebody. It can be a prolonged illness, a prolonged financial struggle, right? It doesn't mean that you were in the Holocaust. A trauma, we can have big T traumas, but we can have little t traumas too, which just means areas of prolonged stress. And when we've had times of prolonged stress, it basically sends us into a hormonal loop, and that loop like calcifies in our system basically. And so our energy is always running around that loop, which always makes us feel that way, like that thing is always there. And it might always be, because those patterns are magnetized, and they will magnetize situations to them, but they magnetize, we won't go too much into that. I'll save that for another video. But we have to know that these things are happening. So we cleanse, we reset, and then we reboot your energy so that you're avoiding those patterns that are magnetized, that could potentially like suck you back into those self-destructive patterns. because we're talking about self-destructive patterns, and this might be the fact that you eat when you're not hungry, the fact that you pace the floor, or you go down and you try to figure it out but never actually figure it out. That you drink, that you just over socialize, that you chronically avoid, that you chronically work out, like chronically beat yourself up in your head, that you chronically make yourself small around certain people, right? We're talking about the patterns that are destructive. The ways you chronically say no to yourself and just push yourself to work with no reward at the end. Those are limiting, self-defeating patterns, and we want to kick ourselves out of that. So if you're interested in any of that, then I invite you to join me on this 3-part video series, because we've got a little extra time maybe now to come out of this in a completely different way, right? We're being given this time to reset ourselves in a completely different way and come out on the other side different people. When we have different chemistry, guys, we think differently, okay? If we're just constantly trying to, if we feel bad inside and then we're trying to like fix it by putting chemicals into our body or by trying to fix something out in the world out there, we're going to come up short every time. And if it wasn't that way, then more people would be satisfied and more people would be healthy and less people would be sick and less people would be struggling, right? Gaining control over your life is simply gaining control of your chemistry. I know it sounds so simple, but trust me, you have nothing to lose. These are 3-minute breath exercises, and you'll feel a difference probably within the first or second time you do it. But it's really gaining control of your life is gaining control of your inner chemistry. And when you're in control of your inner chemistry, it's hard for you to be swayed. It's hard for you to be afraid. It's hard for you to have anxious thoughts. It's hard for you to hold yourself back. It's hard for you just to sit around and be sad about life, right? When our chemistry is balanced, we want to go do things. We want to go experience life. We are loving and available to people. We are loving and available to life. Life just becomes so much warmer and welcoming. And that's what I want for you, because it's your birthright. And it's nothing you have to work for. It's nothing you have to buy. It's just resetting in the way I'm going to show you to reset. So I hope you guys will join me. Share this with your friends. Stay tuned for the first video.